Well, hello and welcome to episode 3 of the Support Squad Real Talk. And I am joined today by the lovely Steve. So, Steve, let me hand over to you and let you introduce yourself.
As it says on the screen, Steve Axtell from It's Easy Websites, and we basically help businesses to make an impact online. That's simple.
Brilliant. So, those who've been following the series will know that I've got sort of a series of question prompts. So I always start with, tell us what you do, but how do we know each other?
I'm pretty sure we met through business networking, and I think it was Business Buzz. Although I do see your other networking as well now, but I'm pretty sure it's Business Buzz in Northampton originally, where then you became an ambassador and broached me into being an ambassador as well. So I think that's pretty much it. And it's on this Wednesday.
I was going to say, we might as well do a little plug. So you can come and meet Steve and I in person at Northampton Business Buzz. We both posted about it this week. It's on Wednesday at the Barrett Snooker, I think it's called Club. Let's call it Club. And we meet for the networking is 10 till 12, but we meet for breakfast at 9. So if you would like a yummy breakfast beforehand, come and join in the Breakfast Club. Anyway, right. Sorry, a little digressing off about networking. So I'm asking all my guests this. Can you share a sort of a little fun fact about yourself or something unexpected that people may not know about you?
I'm pretty much an open book, but I must admit, when people ask me this, I always come up with and it's a great headline, I once had lunch with Prince Philip.
Now, I did not know this, so you need to tell us how this came about, where you had lunch, what you had, and what he was like.
Right, what he was like, I have to be careful on, but
okay.
the soundbite title sounds grander than it is. I used to work for a company called Famous Grouse Whiskey, which I'm sure a lot of people have heard of, and we
have a bottle of that knocking about.
Well done. Most of the stuff I've ever worked with in the past, most people have got bits in the houses like WD-40 and batteries and stuff. Anyway, digressing again. It's when I say I had lunch with Prince Philip, I was at Windsor Great Park because we used to sponsor their carriage driving and big tents and marquees and stuff and lunch and stuff at various times. And I was sitting down at this trestle table having my lunch, and then this bloke sat opposite me who happened to be Prince Philip because he just has no airs and graces, just sat himself down, started to chat. Then he called somebody over and was moaning because there was a lump at one of the bends, corners, whatever, which nearly, when the carriage went over, he nearly threw him out of the carriage. And you could just imagine all these people scurrying around now trying to dig out this thing to make sure it was flat next time he went round. So it was great. It was entertaining, but lovely guy. So, but it was fun.
No, I don't think there are many people who can say they've had lunch with him. And he's got piercing, or did have, piercing blue eyes.
Yeah, and the thing is, the soundbite's great, but he just happened to sit opposite me. But I'm dining out on that, so that's fine.
It's all about being in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
So there we go. So, we've known each other for a few years, and I did not know that about you. So there we go. So we're going to get into sort of like the core questions, I suppose, as to why we're here today to talk about websites and how we can perhaps help people who are either setting up their own business or have been in business for a while, but they kind of come to the realization they need a website or they perhaps need a different website. So first question is, what's the sort of biggest mistake that you see small business owners making when it comes to websites?
I think the biggest mistake, and it's not just the business owners, but sometimes the people who are providing the websites, you come at it from a technical aspect. So somebody is wanting to do their own website, let's say they're trying to do it themselves, and they start thinking about all the technical side of things. They start thinking about how something should be coded. Do I need to learn a bit of code to do this? It's the wrong reason. A website's a marketing tool. The whole point of coming at anything like this, whether it's a website or a campaign or your LinkedIn profile or anything else, it's a marketing tool. Who's your audience? What's the language they use? Where are they? What's going to attract them? You do need to attract the search engines to then talk to your audience, which is the slightly technical part. But you have to start with that. Was it Stephen Covey? Begin with the end in mind. And you have to think, where am I going with this? And how can I get there? try not to think of the technical aspect, because that's where the design company, the web company, should come in and help you.
Yeah, I think when a lot of people get hung up with what pages they need and what have you, but it's the same on LinkedIn. Who is your audience, and what are you talking to them about? If you haven't got that key bit nailed, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
So really interesting that you say that.
100%, and it's consistent language as well. Because if you're posting on LinkedIn and your language isn't consistent, you're all over the place. You've got no brand. You know, there's with me stuff across
personal brand.
Personal brand building. You know, if your language is inconsistent, and even down to things like, is the website talking about you? You know, Marianne does this, Marianne does that. Are you talking about yourself? I do this, I do that. Do you want to appear a bit bigger, or have you got a small team? We do this, we do that, but just keep it consistent.
Yeah, brilliant. So my next question is there sort of like one sort of, although it might be multiple, but one simple thing that people could do today that would make a real difference on their website or when they're planning a website?
Yeah, I mean, flipping back to that, so they've got a website already. Have you reviewed it lately? So is your audience still the same? Is it, you know, so that what I just mentioned a minute ago, that's constant. It's like painting the fourth road bridge. Keep reviewing that, keep thinking about that, keep it keeping it fresh. There are technical things you can do though. So often when people come to me, there's something wrong. Let's face it, if everything's working fine, they're very happy with the website, they're not even talking to me, there's usually a problem. Now, it's either a technical problem, or they just need a new provider, or they're looking for a new design and don't want to use the current provider, whatever the reasons being. But there's little things you can do just to make it a little bit better. One of the big things that affect websites is the site speed, how quickly it opens. And it's amazing how you can change that very easily by looking at your images. How big your images, can you compress them without taking the quality out, and making sure they're operating as best they can. There's technical things that could be done, like just slowing down some of the external elements of a website so that it opens quicker. There's tags behind images, all sorts of things you can do, lots of little technical things. And I'm very happy to review anyone's websites if they think that there's something wrong. I'll happily do a review. Anyone's watching this, I'll happily do a review and send that over free of charge, so they can find out. Technical stuff might have to go back to their provider, but some of the stuff you can do yourself.
Oh, that's really handy. Thank you. And then we've got he hasn't actually added himself to StreamYard, but Nick Huddleston says he will see us about 10:30 in the morning. So that's great, Nick. We will see you then. And then Kevin D. Turner says, good morning, Marianne Avery from Texas. Good morning, Kevin. I don't know the time zone difference, but yes, we're having a little lunchtime chat here about websites. So if you've got anything you want to add or ask about websites, then do let us know.
I think that's about 4 in the morning, isn't it? Or 6 in the morning?
I don't know. I think he's a bit of a night owl. Yeah. Now, I know you were talking about the speed of a website. You did share a link. Do you want me to just pop that up on the screen? Yeah. Do you want to just sort of talk about what this link does while people sort of screen grab it, type it into their browser, what have you?
Just whack it in. So basically, just go in there, stick in your web address, nice and easy. Then there's 2 sections. One is for mobile, one is for desktop. Really important that mobile works at a high speed. Desktop should be there already, it should be. But it will give you, this particular link will give you the actual speeds, and you really need everything to be under like 2.5 seconds. But really quicker than that, because 2.5 seconds is a hell of a long time when somebody's typing it on a phone and waiting. It feels like forever. So you're really looking to get that under a second if you can.
I remember one of the things you were telling me about when we were doing my website was about the image sizes.
Yeah.
What sort of, what is, I can't get my words out. Just quickly, Kevin's just replied and says that it's 6 a.m. So anyway, right. Thanks, Kevin. What other things would be slowing your website down? Because I remember you said about images, but is there anything else that
there can be? There's some websites you have things called plugins, and so you're bringing in things from outside resources, and sometimes they don't go into your website, they're linked to your website. And you can, if if everything, you imagine a page with 20 of these things in there, exaggeration, but let's just say they're there, all trying to open at the same time, that's going to grind you to a halt. So that's where you can actually buffer those things a little bit, probably best term I can use, to come in milliseconds afterwards. So humans probably wouldn't even realize it, but that will help. But that's a technical thing. Kind of need your web developer to do that. Images are pretty bad. Video's okay again if you stream it from outside and just buffer it that little bit so that it comes in slightly later. If it tries to hit,
so rather than having it hosted on your website, have it on YouTube or Vimeo,
something
or
like that. And it's
another.
Have it on YouTube, and it's a search engine anyway, so it's benefiting you. So why wouldn't you? But also try and have it just opening that a little bit slower, and then that will. So it's not noticeable to humans. It's fine, but it will just come in nicely, and it's not going to slow the site down.
And you offered to do a sort of like a free review. How would people contact you? Would it be via LinkedIn? Or...
That's one of them. That'll do.
Yeah. Okay. Brilliant.
Do it on that. Go to my website, and they're going to show that later anyway. The easiest thing, do you know what? Give me a call. We can talk through your problems and what you think the problem is, and then I can dig into that particular issue as well for you. There might be technical issues. It might just be you've got loads of people coming to your website and nobody's talking to you. Well, let's then have a look at the flow, the design. Is it easy to use? Because technically, the technical aspects of a website is kind of helping with search engine and all these other things. But the reality is when people get there, they've got to be able to use the website. They've got to be able to find you. They've got to find what they're looking for pretty quickly these days. People haven't got much of an attention span. And especially on mobile, because you're now on a very small screen, you've really got to be able to find things quickly.
Yeah. Okay, great. And then my next question is there something that you wish more people understood about what you do?
Two things here. What web designers do, people think that anyone can build a website. I often hear that term, anyone can build a website. They really can't. You can have a good go, and there's plenty of templates out there that you can try, and you'll get a website. Will that website work for you is an entirely different discussion. So that's where you kind of need that expert help in terms of the tech and also all the stuff I've just been talking about. So about me in particular, I've got 46 years of marketing and business development experience. So the reality is when I'm talking to people, I'm not talking about the technology of a website. I'm trying to find out what makes them tick, what they're trying to achieve in their business, and bringing my expertise into play with that. And then, by the way, I'm going to provide you a website to help you on your way. So that, in terms of me personally, that's kind of where I come in, and what people maybe don't understand about me. No reason why they should, unless they know me, unless they've spoken to me. So, yeah, that's probably the best thing.
Okay, cool. And then, when's the right time to bring someone like you into a business? Is there sort of a sign or a time? Or, do you know what?
Yeah, now, no, I'm actually quite busy at the moment. Really, it's a kind of, once again, going back to some of those things. If you think the site's not working very well, one of the big ones, the reason I mentioned site speed, and I think I mentioned it a couple of times, so this will be 3 and I'll stop.
I'm just going to pop that back up again in case anybody
the site speed thing,
it.
Because a lot of people come and say, I love my website, but it just takes so long to open. So as soon as somebody says that, you need to talk to somebody, whether it's your current provider and say, fix this, or something you can do yourself to fix it, or you talk to somebody else if your current provider can't do it. It's a biggie. It's a huge thing. There's anything like that, or, my customers are telling me my site's not very good, or it can't be found. That's a great one, obviously, because of good old SEO, search engine optimization. Sorry about the acronym. So all those things, and it often comes from a third party, not from the client. The client will say to me, I've got these problems. Well, how did you find that? Well, my cousin told me, or, 3 of my clients have been trying to get hold of me and can't get hold of me, or whatever it is. So it's any of those issues. I mean, I would say, if you have the budget, if you're launching a business, get a pro in to do it, because it's done right from the start. The bulk of my clients have had to go themselves or had somebody else do it, and they come to me when they need it to go up to another level. That's the norm. Is they will try it themselves, and why not? You're starting a new business. You probably haven't got a massive budget. There's umpteen templates on the internet, and you'll give it a go. Not a problem.
Cool. And then can you share a little story or an example of businesses that you have helped and what sort of difference it's made to them?
Yeah, I've got one from a few years ago and one from the weekend, if you want.
Oh yeah, go on. Let's hear both. Yeah.
Let's do the weekend, because we had a client who, for whatever reason, decided they would try somewhere else. Absolutely fine. And that was 3 months ago, something like that. And I got a call and said, can I come back, please? Because the new provider has done such a bad job. In fact, haven't done a job at all, taking a chunk of cash off them. And they now have no website, and it's an online business. So we're going to rescue them this afternoon and get everything back up and running, and we're all good, always going to be good, because we always keep a website on a server for 6 months after somebody goes, because this happens quite a lot. They get sold something somewhere else and then find that actually they made a mistake. It happens. So we look after them. I think the other one was one of my favorite ones, where some years ago, and there was a guy who has an online shop, well, two guys have an online shop, and the website was utterly terrible. I mean, we're talking, it looked bad. It looked like it was from before the internet existed, and it was broken in many places. And once again, this is an online business. They have no other outlet. Okay. However, and this surprised me, when he told me how much they were selling through the website, it was tens of thousands of pounds a year, a lot of business. We had quite a few discussions. Naturally, they're nervous because it's their entire business and it's tens of thousands of pounds. And they said, can you promise, you guarantee that, this is going to be better? And I have to be honest, it's the internet. You never know. I cannot guarantee a thing. Nobody can. If anybody guarantees you anything on the web, run. Anyway, I said, but I'll be honest with you. This is me now, hand on heart. Looking at what you've got, and we've already agreed it's rubbish, okay? Looking at what you've got, it certainly can't be any worse, and I'm pretty confident you're going to be okay. Anyway, they went with us. And early stages, lots of phone calls and, helping them out and developing and getting to know them. And about 6 months in, I think it was, gave me a call and said, Steve, I need to have a chat with you. Do you remember when we first said you couldn't guarantee, sales and all this kind of stuff? Mm-hmm. And so I'm now sitting there bracing myself. And I said, yeah, I do remember. Let me know what's the problem. He said, no problem. I just thought, we've done the entire year's sales in 6 months. We doubled their business, and that's been consistent, apart from COVID when it went through the roof, obviously, as an online business. But they've consistently done twice what they used to do. And it was down to, it's a weird thing. Have you ever heard of a guy called Vince Lombardi?
I know the name, but I don't know why I know the name.
Okay, fairly famous NFL football coach from the 60s, I think, 70s.
Oh, I was thinking of an actor. Anyway,
okay. Bela Lugosi? No, anyway. But he had a thing, and he was extremely successful. And he put his success down to do what he calls doing the basics brilliantly. Because you can be very clever and do lots of weird and wonderful things and, lots of whiz-bang stuff. But if you just do the basics, but do them so well and do them consistently, you'll get great results. So all we do is we created a website that actually looked a million times better. It wasn't broken. It was opening really fast. It was really easy for the guys to edit. We do all our own, we do all the designs. We have everything in-house. We do all the coding, the designs, everything. And we just do it so well that you haven't got to be clever. You just got to do that really, really well. That's all we did. We did the basics brilliantly, and it works.
Well, I hope you've got that as a testimonial on your website. If you haven't, you need to.
It'll be somewhere, probably. I'll get too many. It sounds awful, doesn't it? We actually no, that was me being really big-headed. We actually use Trustpilot now, and so because this is a franchise operation, I'm a franchisee in this area. We use Trustpilot, and there's well over 1,000 testimonials on there, which anyone can go and read at any point. So, and I think that was before we started using Trustpilot. Either way, I could always get to do another one. But.
Yeah. Oh, that's really good. So, I was going to say, where can people find you? So we've already shared your LinkedIn profile,
Mhm.
which is, your name, Steve Axtell,
That will be.
and then the company website. So you just touched on there about it being a franchise. So
Yeah.
do you want to just sort of explain about that? Because I know you also help new franchisees as well, because I've met a couple of them. You've brought them along to networking.
Sure. So yeah, the franchise operation it's all in the UK. So it's based in Torquay. All the servers are in the UK. Everything is here. You're under UK law, nice and safe. And they're our servers, which is why we can deliver up sites so fast. Ours are kind of 0.02 of a second or something crazy, because we can optimize for speed. Back to that again. Sorry, fourth time. So yeah, there's
speed is important.
It is important. I think there's about 30 of us around the country, but yes, I'm also a mentor to franchisees as well. So when they come in, and I do a bit of training with them and help them out in the background. But it's a great system because the whole thing was invented by It's Easy. So it's our code, it's our system, all in house, and then we use people around the country. Sounds awful, but there's people like me all over the country. So we've got this personal relationship where we actually don't see people. It's not all done through the internet and all the rest of it. So yeah, it's a great system. It's a great way of working. The country's not full yet, and we've got nobody in Scotland, which surprises me. So if you're in Scotland and listening, if you fancy a franchise, give us a shout.
Brilliant. And then, is there anything coming up in your business that you want people to know about? I know you've given me some other sort of links, but I'll let you chat, and then if there's things you want me to sort of pop up, I can.
Yeah, no, that's fine. The nothing specific. If you're an It's Easy customer at the moment, I don't know if you read your emails, Marianne, but if you
I'm a bit behind on my emails.
Yeah, if you refer to us at the moment, or I think it's until the end of October, you get a month's money back. So if you referred me 3 times and 3 people signed up, you get 3 months off. So that's kind of quite cool. That's kind of nice. But no, we just do back to the thing again, the basics brilliantly. We just keep doing the right things all the time. So there's not kind of big peaks and troughs and changes and anything going on. We just do what we do. And as I say, the offer at the moment, from my point of view, is a free review if anyone needs them, or just a chat. Do you know what? Sometimes people just want to chat and understand things a bit better. I'm here. Give me a call if you're in Northampton. Buy me a coffee or come networking, and we'll put it all together.
Brilliant. So there's a couple of links you shared with me, so I was just going to put them up on the screen.
Okay.
One at a time. If you just want to talk through them, yeah, exactly. So in no particular order. This is the order that I've got them on StreamYard. So
yeah, that one's actually just that one will come straight to me, and I can then just run an SEO health check through the website, so I can see how it's all working. And then
what would somebody? Oh, they get a report. So what would they see in that? What would they
so get? In the report, they're going to see that the current state. They will see also suggestions how to fix it, and if they're not sure what that means, then. Do you know anyone I send a report to? I'd follow it up with a phone call anyway and talk it through. But yeah, we don't just sort of say there it is and everything's bad, or there it is and everything's good. There it is and here's things you can do.
Because SEO is also a service that you do, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's relatively new to us. There's lots of people do SEO. It depends what you want, really. It depends on how much you need. I find for localized businesses that are relatively niche, they probably don't need it. If you're a web design company like us, the market is so saturated, spending money on SEO is probably not money well spent, because too many people competing for too many things. So when it comes to SEO and I'm talking to people, I'd always try and understand what their market's about, whether it's worth them kind of investing some time and money in it. But with our websites, you can do a lot of it yourself on the website. So that's, you can do a lot of it yourself.
I've got a question. Oh, go on. Sorry, I'm interrupting you. I've got a question that's come up, but it's LinkedIn user, so I don't actually know who it is. I'm trying to quickly head over to LinkedIn. If you wouldn't mind answering that, and I'll try and work out who it is who's asked the question.
That's right. That's fine. Lazy loading. I'm assuming that's what I was referring to before, was almost like that buffering thing. And there is a different term to it, which for the moment it's gone straight out of my head. But lazy loading, I'm guessing, is that whole point. The website loads, and if it all tries to go now, and there's lots on there, it will open slowly. The lazy loading bit, the term will come back to me what it's really called, but it's just like website opens and everything else just comes in very slightly behind it, and that will actually speed up.
Oh, is that like where you click on a website and you can sort of see that there's an image and it's kind of coming up really slowly?
No. If it's that slowly, then it's not working properly. It's
Okay.
almost like it's coming in slightly behind, but not enough that you'd notice it. That will enable it's what they call the first paint. If you do that site speed thing, it will show you the first contentful paint, they call it, where it's there and you can see the website and all this other stuff's happening without you really noticing, and that's just coming in slightly behind. I'm guessing that's
just going to show this again. So whoever it was who asked that question, unfortunately, my LinkedIn feed is running behind where we're at, so that comment's not actually showing yet, so I can't see who it is. So sorry about that.
But that's great. Seriously, I'll keep going back to this one, but do look at it. Have a look at the first contentful paint. It will then show you again underneath it all the suggestions of what needs doing. Some of which will be quite technical, and if you really want to know, give me a shout.
Okay, and then we've got sort of from Natalie. It's a mixture of a question and a comment. I'm just going to remove the banner as well.
What would you expect from a copywriter?
Yeah. Yeah, so she's sort of complimenting you, and then she's asking a question at the end. So how much of your week is spent on helping your existing customers? So I think she's looking for, your sort of kind of customer service versus new business. What to give people, I suppose, an example of why you're different. I think that's what she's getting at.
That's fair. I'd say at least 50%. At least 50%, but it fluctuates. I mean, some weeks I don't hear from anybody in particular. If it gets to a point where I'm quite quiet, I'm not hearing from people, then I get antsy and I actually phone them up. I spoke to you lately. Let's do. And I always review every site anyway, every quarter. So there's always a reason to talk to people. But yeah, a lot of the industry over the years has become quite tarnished at times. But with ourselves, it's all about customer service, customer support. We want to make sure that everything's working fine. Customers are happy that we're at the end of the phone if they need us, that kind of thing. So that's really, I guess that's a point of difference.
Brilliant. And then I know that one of the other links that you shared with me was this one about not sure which platform to go with.
Yeah, if
you want to talk about this.
Yeah, we've just done a comparison table. We're going to add another one fairly soon as well, just to put the facts out there of which ones work, which ones for all different reasons. Some things are good, some things are bad. Do they offer free email addresses? Do they offer SSL certificates? That's the security certificates and stuff for websites. And we've just done a straight comparison table, so that's there if it's any use, including some of the other platforms. I seem to remember from it last time I looked, Wix has come up quite well, so they've moved forward over the years, have become quite a good system. For instance, I mean, we're still better, of course, but it's there, it's open. We're very transparent. If it's fact and it's there, we just publish it. So
yeah, we've got another sort of comment here, but again, I can't see who this is. I'm thinking it's somebody you probably know, but I'm still running behind, so I can't look who it is.
So interesting. Yes, we do use our own platform, and it's our own content management system. The reason for that
in case somebody didn't know what CMS is. Yeah.
So it's all on our servers. So it needs to be like that to make it work. The thing is, what I think people don't understand is people don't really own a website. It's because it's a string of code on something.
Oh, it's Nick Huddleston. He's just put his name.
Yeah. If you're it's on. Unless you've got a web server, you really haven't got it. It's got to go somewhere, and it's sitting somewhere else. With things like, let's pick WordPress or Wix as an example, you could theoretically jump around between people who use the same platform. WordPress is a good example where I've got a WordPress site. I don't like my current guy who's gone bust. I've moved it to somebody else. When you move it to somebody else, then because of all these things called plugins and different ways things work, that person's got to do some work on it. With ourselves, basically, we provide what's called a site rip. So that site rip can go to any other provider. It's got all the files. It's got all the text, images, everything on there, but obviously hasn't got the code because the code runs off the server, and then they can upload all this into what's called an FTP. I'm getting really into jargon now, file transfer protocol, because I've had that a couple of times when they've taken our site rip, gone into a file transfer protocol, it's gone up into their server, they do some amendments, and off you go again. So it's all movable, it's all doable, but very few kind of go. But when they do, you know,
they can.
Over the weekend they have come back, but that's fine. But yeah, things are movable. But yes, it's not what they call open source software. It's not open source, but anybody can just dive in and do what they want on it, which actually makes it a lot more secure.
Yeah, no, that's good to know. So I think so this is reminder where you can find Steve if you'd like to follow or connect with Steve and take him up on his offer of doing a free health check for anybody. So I think we've come to the end of our time. Is there anything else you would like to add? I know we were chit-chatting and it's just time just flies, doesn't it? Is there anything else you'd like to add before we close?
Nothing that really springs to mind, to be fair, but I mean, just keep that in mind about doing the basics brilliantly. And that just doesn't just apply to websites, applies to everything. If you just do the right stuff all the time and be consistent with it, it'll work.
It sounds like you're singing from the LinkedIn hymn book. Be consistent. Really? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
Nick's just said, thanks, Steve, understand. So just pop that up there. Brilliant. Okay, well, I am going to call it time there. So thanks, everybody. And if you did fancy coming along to Business Buzz and seeing us both in person, I'm going to try and remember to bring my new award with me. I forgot it last month.
You did.
So we will see you all then. Thank you very much.
Thanks now.